Welcome back to Coffee Talk. Sorry I'm late. I'm just a slow mover today. What can I say? How's everybody doing? Is this thing on? Who's the first one here? Genre user, Billingtano. Good to see you, my friend. Lose the Iron Maiden. Did you have a good 4th of July? Didn't really do anything. We just hung out at home. Take it easy. Jeff Rust, what's up? Tony Coriolis, good to see you. Intense heat happening in Michigan. There's intense heat happening here, I know that. Very intense heat happening here in the South. Not that anybody is really surprised by that, but it really is hot. It's like been like in the high 90s, 99, and then feels like well over 100. Feels like 110, 115. Hot AF. What's up, Lowry Music? Scrotal Xerox. Lowry Video Music. Alpine Endeavor. Aisling 717. That's Miss Cammy. The Mandy Effect. Hello. Raised by Gypsies. Happy Moonday, everyone. Ocean breezes. Yeah. Fly a drone into a tornado. Yeah, I see these people flying drones to film tornadoes too, and I'm like, how? What kind of drone do y'all have? It must be some like really high-end drones. Vincent Loonman, Flat Farmer, RSW. Cute clothing items. Hello, Accidental Alchemist. No notification again. Shocking. J Love Infinity. Iced coffee. I'd been making iced coffee, but today I drank hot coffee. I'm drinking hot coffee because I'm inside. I'm not going outside. If I was going outside, I'd be making iced coffee. Chatting amongst ourselves. Good for you. Ivan the Terrible. All right. 64 Fahrenheit in Scotland, Liz. That's nice. What is it here? It's got to be in the 81. It's not as hot today, though, as it has been yesterday. It rained yesterday, which cooled everything off. Oh, it's going to get hotter again, though, with chances of rain. Oh, next week it says 100. Oh, crap. Oof. Anyway, that should be fun. I get notifications. Well, that's good. 72. 72 is nice. Feels like 80. Man. So what's going on these days? What is going on these days in the world of geocentric stationary Earth, my friends? Are we just living our lives at this point? Cooler in October? Yeah, it usually is. Usually October is actually pretty good weather if anybody here remembers going to my events, which were typically held in the third weekend, the second to the last weekend of October, usually the weekend, before Halloween. And it's always really nice. The weather is really nice at that time. Yeah, the one time I move it into a late September and it gets hit by a hurricane. Cloudy and drab. Wonder if this news map thing is working again. Yeah, it is working again. Thousands evacuated from homes in southwest France as wildfire burns. Huh. China test fires long-range ballistic missile in the Pacific. Oh, nice. Trump's tablet-throwing Oval Office meltdown revealed. Ooh. Hello, Wild Eden. Except that one time you had a hurricane. Yeah, exactly. That was, but see, that's what I'm saying. That was not in late October. It was late September. Oh, hey, look at this. Good news. Turns out the Earth will never be swallowed by the sun. Why do they say that? New study suggests that when our solar system star becomes unstable in 5 billion years or so, Earth may avoid being engulfed by its fiery demise. But wait a minute. If there's no sun, how does the Earth survive? This is supposed to be good news? None of it. The bad news, of course, is that none of us will be around to find out. That's bad news. This? Man, these people who want to write like science-based science articles for these guys, just mind rot. Just total freaking mind rot. I don't even want to read all that. I don't even want to read all that drivel. Like, what? I'm just going to lose brain cells reading it. Hey, Spicy Sarah. One thing I didn't do yet is my sound. Check my phone stuff. Oop. That's not a good sign either. Let's see. It's alright. We're good. Kind of missed the worst of the hurricane in Cammy's house. Wasn't until we left the house and found out how bad it was. Only 5 billion with what you I know. It's so dumb. 5 million years and nothing is going to occur. Yep, slop. It is slop. I mean, that's just for I don't even know who that's for. I don't want to know who it's for. I know it ain't for me. So what's up with, I guess I'm mildly interested in this, Trump's tablet-throwing Oval Office meltdown? The president let his temper get the best of him during a meeting with the foreign ally. Got so angry about a minor tech issue that kept him from talking on a group call with world leaders that he hurled his tablet across the Oval Office. The incident is alleged to have taken place during French President Emmanuel Macron's visit to the White House last February, just weeks into Trump's second term. The two leaders used the device to patch into a call led by Canada's then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Who wants to talk to that douchebag anyway? Trump, annoyed at finding himself unable to speak on the call, lobbed the device over the Resolute desk and onto the floor. Come on. And then so what? Taxpayers had to buy you a new tablet. Trump's temper tantrum forms just one episode of an explosive new expose by the paper on how European leaders have scrambled to keep an increasingly unpredictable U.S. president on side since he retook the White House last year. Trump's increasingly erratic behavior on the world stage has dragged Washington's closest allies toward breaking point. In the 18 months since he reclaimed power, things came to a head this January when close to 30 European heads of government met for a fraught midnight session in Brussels to plot a future free from security and economic dependence on the U.S. The covert summit followed days of brinkmanship over Trump's musings about prizing Greenland, an autonomous territory of NATO member Denmark, out of Danish hands by force. Once one guest likened the meeting to group therapy, a source with knowledge of the exchange told the Journal. Group therapy? So everybody's getting together to bitch about Trump? Is that what they're saying? NATO chief Mark Rutte, who has referred to Trump as daddy in an attempt to curry favor, has largely spearheaded the effort to keep Trump sweet, the Journal reports. He has leaned heavily on flattery, mirroring Trump's clipped, capitalized texting style to such an extent that his fellow leaders have even jokingly described him as an actor who never broke character. Hello, Sue Finelli. Old Peanuts episode. The charm offensive? What is the charm offensive? Trump bristled at her, pushing to punish Moscow over Vladimir Putin's war on Ukraine. Blah, blah, blah. Furious about what he perceives as a lack of allied support for his war on Iran. Because it's fucking stupid, dude. Why are we going to war with Iran? We shouldn't be doing it anyway. We shouldn't be waging wars on the behalf of these Zionist psychopaths. National Weather Service faces hurricane season with less experienced staff and missing data. National Weather Service is hiring to fill hundreds of predominantly entry-level positions more than a year after losing about 15% of its staff due to sweeping job cuts and buyouts ordered by the Trump administration. Veteran meteorologists are cautiously optimistic about how an influx of workers could benefit the agency as storm season gets underway, and as people in the industry say vacancies may be impeding the collection of data that many see as vital for predicting extreme weather. But the Weather Service's focus on recruiting early career scientists, as its job postings advertise, raises concerns for some former employees who believe their relative lack of experience could be reflected in the nation's forecasts, especially without more knowledgeable staff around to help train them. Oh, so they think that we're probably going to get blindsided by some big storms because they don't have the right people looking at the data. I'm guessing is the implication here. Obviously, people retiring and new people coming up is a natural part of any business or agency, said Alan Gerard, a meteorologist who worked for 35 years at the Weather Service and its parent agency, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, before retiring early last year. But it's meant to be done in an organized process where the new people coming in have the benefit of working for a period with people who are experienced that can help train them, build up their expertise. Hurricane season started on June 1st. overlapping with spring and summer months when tornadoes, flash flooding, and wildfire outbreaks typically peak in the United States. For forecast, it's one of the busiest and most critical periods of the year. Last year's federal downsize shrunk the Weather Service by about 600 employees. Most of them experienced workers who accepted early retirement packages, um, says the director of NOAA, a labor union representing Weather Service and NOAA staff. About 100 probationary employees in their first year of federal service were fired. Huh. Federal employment data reviewed by CBS News showed staffing gaps have persisted since then. NOAA had nearly 300 fewer meteorologists and hydrologists on its workforce at the end of May compared with January 2025. While the data doesn't specify which NOAA employees are part of the Weather Service, meteorologists and hydrologists working on other sub-agencies contribute heavily to the research that informs forecasting operations. Hey, Dave Hinkle, Earth is still and never was a spinning ball. That's right. What is that? Heterodox Academy? What is that? Peter and Pete YouTube channel got banned and removed by YouTube. It's not there anymore because of controversial content. Well, I don't know. I didn't watch that channel. So what would they do that was so controversial? My live show is getting interrupted by ads. Well, I don't have it doing that, so how is it getting interrupted by ads? It says my monetization is off. Let's see. No, it's on. London man, I tagged you on a video about the moon. Did you change your name? Are you the guy who used to have the other name? I forget what it was now. Sorry. Hello, Clayton Jacobs. Good Monday morning. Did you see the turnout for Khomeini's funeral? Supposedly the largest gathering of humans in the history of Earth? Really? Let's see. Mourners throng funeral procession in Tehran for Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei.
داره و همه این مردم تک تک این مردم با مشت
I thought everybody isn't he like the allegedly like oppressive leader or whatever, the one that was like forcing having all these harsh laws? Looks like they all love him. Are they supposed to hate this guy or love this guy? Like I don't understand what's going on. Or do I have this wrong? Mourners dressed in black flooded into Iran's capital Monday for a procession as part of the funeral of the late Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, with throngs of people calling for the death of U.S. President Donald Trump. Khamenei's flag-draped coffin and those of members of his family killed February 28th in an airstrike at the start of the war launched by Israel and the United States sat on board a truck decorated to resemble the ornamental grating that surrounds the shrine of an imam. The massive turnout, encouraged by Iran's theocracy as a sign of strength, came as it negotiates with the U.S. over a permanent end to the war. Helicopter images aired on Iranian state television showed a massive crowd stretching from Tehran's Azadi Freedom Square for kilometers down a multi-lane street of the same name. The crowd appeared to be larger than the one that turned out for the 2020 procession of the late Revolutionary Guard General Qasem Soleimani, which drew over 1 million people. Authorities offered no immediate crowd count as the truck crept down the street, but people alongside the truck and elsewhere on the route carried placards, signs, and banners calling for Trump's death. Today that we are here for the funeral of our leader, it's a very tough day. We are not here to say goodbye to him. We are here for revenge, and we will take revenge. Well, that sounds like they're not happy about that guy dying. Were they happy about it or were they not happy? I don't even know what's going on over there. Is there anybody in Iran who can confirm what is going on over there? Glitching and changing monetization. They're just trying to make people watch ads. London Man, I think, is the dude who thinks we live on the moon. Voy, what up? Hi, Dan MC. Hi, Annie D. KJV, that's what it was. Thank you, Tony. Tony's here to remind me. A Wegovy ad? What's a Wegovy? Is that weird? Is that one of those injections to lose weight? Hello, Angela Baby Carson. I must be banned by now. We are not banned. I can see what you're typing. Doubt anyone would be happy about a foreign power obliterating their leader. Yeah, right? I think it's like Ozempic. Yeah, I think it is. They don't. That stuff is messing people up. Every once in a while, I see like some new like side effect that they're divulging to the public ever so quietly. Nothing replaces eating your healthy eating habits and lots of physical activity, staying in motion, moving your body, exercising, going outside, getting real sunshine. Nothing replaces this for being healthy. I see so many just absolutely unhealthy people around, and I'm just like, how did you get that bad? How did you get so like far from like what you should be? Are those drugs actually based on Gila monster venom? I don't know. Are they? Being a news cameraman, I don't believe any of these reports. You can verify that by the thousands of vids about the World Cup visitors being lied to by the foreign propaganda machines. Seems to be true, but nobody is talking about it. Blows my mind away. What seems to be true? A pill to kill your natural desire to feed yourself, also not just appetite. I can only imagine that something like that would be messing up your digestive system in a horrible way. And here's the thing about that. Like I used to talk about this stuff all the time. I haven't talked about it in a long time because I feel like I'm just repeating myself and it's the same people here, you know, it's like but you have your digestive system is a brain. It has neurons. Like there's neurons in your head, there's neurons in your gut, and there's neurons in your heart. So you have like three brains technically, and your gut is one of them. And I can't imagine what putting this weird crap in your gut is doing to your body long term. Like it can't be good. It cannot be good. Something terrible is going to come out of people do this mass use of this drug that people are doing right now. It always something always happens. You know, now there's going to be like, did you take GLP-1s? Blah 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 blah. You could qualify for a whatever their mass lawsuit. Their what do they call it? Class act. You could qualify for the class action lawsuit against GLP-1 producers who hid the side effects, the known side effects of these drugs, and sold it to you anyway so they could make billions of dollars. I mean, come on. So many people are on that stuff and they look inhuman. Oh my gosh. What's up, sheepdog? Brando Sheen. What comment? What did you talk about? I don't see where your comment got removed. I don't see it. Kelly Osbourne. Oh my God, she looks terrible. Because weight loss gives your face new wrinkles, so they squirt filler in there. Oh my God, yeah. Ew, it's so terrible. Lizard venom. Botox. Yeah, they get botulism injected into their face. That shit's wild. Did you grow an extra nub during the Ozempic crisis? In a huge, horrible way, I'm taking bets with anyone that it will be black boxed in 10 years. Yeah, seriously. Nothing good comes from taking a shortcut if you're not going to do it right the first time. When will you have time to? Yeah, exactly. I'm always looking at the ingredients and putting it back on the shelf. Yeah, that's dude, there's probably thousands of products that I was like, ooh, that looks good. And then I picked it up and I turned around and I read it and I put it back on the shelf. That has saved me so many times is turning the box over, package over, and reading the ingredients on the back. I put so much stuff back down. It's probably saved me a lot over the years. A lizard died in my AC unit this morning and got chopped up by the fan. Oh my God, must have been a big lizard. How big are the lizards you got down there, boy? Have you had a chance to peruse the SpaceX IPO filing document? A lot of interesting disclosure that show the perceived value is in Starlink. I did not actually read the IPO because, to be completely honest with you, RT Moo, that sounds like one of the most boring things you could ever take the time to read ever. And I know it's a scam though. I know that they like it's like a huge they're just liquidating people, man. They're just taking money. That's all they're doing. Them changing the rules so that SpaceX could even have an IPO. I mean, for these freaking rockets that just blow up over the ocean. Like, get out of here. You know it's all a scam. Mr. Mountain Beast. Hmm. No, I have not. South Park was right again. What's up, True Earth Whisperer? You have iguanas in your yard on the roof and eat from your hand? Wow. Iguanas get big. Alligators, yeah. SpaceX. Starlink is our only profitable aspect of business. Yeah, because that's the only thing that people can actually use is their whatever, their wireless internet. It's a wealth transfer and they want retail investors to hold the bag while they extract all the money. Exactly, Billingtano. Drugs for arthritis, digestion, motility always get black boxed after a few years. Penis shaped rockets penetrating space. But they even penetrate space? I don't think they do. I don't think they're getting out of the atmosphere. They're going to where it gets too thin and then they go over. But once the atmosphere gets too thin, they're not going anywhere. It's just like when you go into the ocean. Once the ocean gets so deep, you're not going any deeper, bro. The pressure becomes it's super high pressure when you go in or down, right? And then as you go up, it's the pressure gets super low. It's too low, you know? That's why we're here in the Goldilocks zone, where the pressure is just right, where it is comfortable for us, where there's air, where there's plants and animals. We're below the tree line. We have trees that can't grow beyond a tree line. Couldn't get it up enough. Right, exactly. One day I'm going to cancel Starlink, and when they want their equipment, I don't want to do all that. So I'll get charged $250 unless they raise it. Brandon, it's just clickbait. Nobody would ever leave cash and gold bars where they found them in an abandoned RV. Don't be stupid. Scooter, is that what it is? Later, London man. Calls for Trump's death grow as the funeral grows. Trump's ordering the 2020 killing of Soleimani. I mean, yeah, why wouldn't they be pissed off? Wherever they're messing with their government and their leaders. Um, Old artifacts. What was it again? You said Mr. Mountain Beast or something like that? Mr. Mountain Beast. God, it sounds like Mr. Beast, and I freaking hate that guy's face so much. I hate his stupid smile. He's like, just, ugh, I hate that guy. Hate. SpaceX IPO SEC filing in the search bar. The independent auditor of the financial statements for SpaceX is PricewaterhouseCoopers. So you're telling me there's no value in the space travel part of SpaceX? Shocking. Shocking. Close to Hollywood, yeah. Ayatollah died back in February. I found 3 cell phones, 1 wallet, $350 in cash left behind at the grocery store. Probably the intense heat messing with folks' ability to think reasonably. So, disclosures discuss low Earth orbit. Click the SEC link. SpaceX Exploration Technology HTML. Is this all for SpaceX? Space stats. What is all this? A liquid fuel rocket to reach orbit by a private company. 2012 private company to successfully dock a spacecraft with the International Space Station. 2016 to propulsively land an orbital class booster. To refly an orbital class booster. So this is what they're talking about, their achievements. Whatever. Crew members flown 78. I don't know what I'm looking at here. Space will crush you. Definitely proof there's ancient tech being used. Perfect carvings in the mountains, pillars, etc. Ceiling paintings. Just this. What do you mean by ancient tech? Because there's still people today that make fine stone carvings the same way they did back then, with like just a little tool and a lot of time and patience and skill. So what do you mean by ancient tech? Starbase, Texas. God. First, to begin deploying large-scale low Earth orbit broadband satellite constellation. Low latency, low Earth orbit network available globally. To manufacture consumer-grade phased array user terminals at scale. To deploy a large-scale low Earth orbit satellite to mobile constellation. 9,600 plus satellites? Is that how much they say they put up there? Gigawatt scale AI training center. Gigawatt scale megapack battery installation. I've heard that he's got these giant battery packs that are supposed to be being used everywhere to store power now, which is ridiculous. Our mission: to build the systems and technologies necessary to make life multiplanetary, to understand the true nature of the universe, and to extend the light of consciousness to the stars. Oh my god, dude. And they're getting billions of dollars for this bullshit. This is the only way to make tons of money in this world is to be absolutely, completely, 100% unequivocally full of absolute retarded bullshit. And then everybody will give you all kinds of money for your retarded bullshit. I'm convinced. This is what I see over and over again. You just have to be the biggest peddler of absolute fucking bullshit. Oh my god. Killing me, dude. Killing me. Oh my god. Their space division is mostly for deployment of satelloons for Starlink and some dreamy bullshit about moving our consciousness into the stars. Yeah, right? With future plans to make its new Starship launch vehicles to the moon, Mars, and beyond. However, disclosed risk factors convey many of the hurdles that could cause this to be delayed or fail. Their space division has only lost money. Yeah. I mean, it's just, dude, it's ridiculous. Extend the light of consciousness to the stars. Shut up. Just shut the fuck up. That's all I can think of. Like, if somebody was in front of me standing there saying that and they were serious and they seriously believe that bullshit, I would just be like, please, dude, just shut the fuck up. Oh. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Look at it's the sperm and the egg. Sperm and the egg. Hi, methinks bear. Have a nice day, Sirius B. Grifter alert. I hear he has a bridge in Brooklyn he wants to sell us to. Right. And then they just have a bunch of pictures of rockets. Okay. Whoop-de-doo. Risk factors. Risks related to our business. Any failure or delay in the development of Starship at scale or in achieving the required launch cadence, reusability, and capabilities thereafter would delay or limit our ability to execute our growth strategy, including the deployment of next-generation satellites, global satellite to mobile connectivity, and orbital AI compute, which could materially adversely affect our business, financial condition, results of operations, and future prospects. If we are unable to successfully complete the development, testing, and deployment of Starship at scale in accordance with our anticipated schedule, or at all, or if we are unable to achieve sufficient launch cadence, reusability, capability, our ability to execute our growth strategy, such as deployment of our next generation V3 satellites, V2 satellite to mobile connectivity, and providing orbital AI compute infrastructure, would be materially and adversely affected. The commercial deployment of Starship, particularly at scale, is subject to substantial risks and uncertainties inherent in the development of new and complex technologies and systems. Delays or challenges in the Starship program have in the past occurred and may occur in the future due to a variety of factors, including unforeseen technological challenges, supply chain disruptions, manufacturing difficulties, delays in the development, construction or commissioning of launch and fueling infrastructure, such as launch pads, air separation units, and other propellant production systems. Unavailability of such launch and fueling infrastructure, including launch pads, in insufficient number and inoperable condition, including as a result of mishaps, loss of damage to vehicle or other components, regulatory hurdles, or the need for additional design modifications. If we are required to undertake unanticipated redesigns, conduct additional testing, replace lost vehicles or components, or address operational setbacks, we may experience delays and incur significant additional costs. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Or be forced to reallocate critical resources from other projects. If our launch pads are not available for an extended period of time for any reason, we may not be able to achieve our development, testing, and deployment goals. Such delays could have cascading effects on our ability to achieve the scale we need to timely achieve future objectives. In addition, a critical part of our growth strategy involves increasing our launch cadence, reusability, and capability, including increasing our payload per launch. This will require, among other things, the successful development and operation of reusable launch vehicles, substantially increased access to raw materials and components like steel, fuel, and propellant, the construction of additional facilities, and securing of additional launch sites or rights to additional launches from existing sites, and navigating complex and evolving regulatory requirements and environmental and technological issues as we seek to increase our launch cadence. Our rocket programs have historically required development of Starship. Our rocket programs have historically required substantial time, there you go, and resources to reach the cadence and cost thresholds necessary for commercial availability and development of Starship may face similar or greater challenges. Any significant delay in achieving key development milestone, obtaining the necessary regulatory approvals, or increase and maintaining our launch cadence, reusability, and capability would impede the expansion of our service offerings, defer anticipated revenue streams, and negatively impact our growth trajectory and competitive positioning in rapidly evolving markets. We may experience higher per launch costs. So basically, it's telling you that it's a money pit. It's telling you right here that SpaceX is just a money pit. I'll donate now. Hi, Cleary. Do you see Captain Kirk said the Earth is flat? No. Rat ship. Weird Al was fantastic. Time approvals from the FAA. So there's that. Oh, the Southern Belle. I don't know if I'm going to be having an event. Well, as of right now, I'm not having an event. Yeah, it's also going to be my first son's birthday. We'll have to figure out some sort of like maybe we can do a park. Maybe we can like go meet at a park or something. We'll have to figure it out. I don't know yet. I don't know yet. So can somebody put something together? Make a plan. So anyway, this is hilarious. They're just telling you that all kinds of horrible things could delay and make them not a financial condition. We have experienced and will likely continue to experience launch delays, failures that could have material adverse effect on our business, financial condition, results of operations, and future prospects. Nothing about this looks good. Nothing about this looks good. They're just ripping everybody off. I have a whole bunch of voicemails. I wonder. I never listened to the voicemails on this thing. I wonder what they're like. Should we play them? Dennis is still going to the Ark. I am not going to the Ark. That's next weekend, and no, I am not. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it. I have too much going on outside of that, and I can't do everything. Yes, October is a wonderful time of year around here. It's always really nice. It's pleasant. It's like 70s. It's very pleasant. Brian used to do that. Brian's too busy. I can't even hardly get Brian to come to like stuff that we do that's not like flat earth meetups, like just friends hanging out. He's a busy guy. He's working all the time. Mm. What's this? Chemo-free technique destroys 99% of cancer cells in the lab. What are they saying? Scientists may have found a way to destroy cancer cells without initially relying on chemotherapy, surgery, or radiation. The approach is called molecular jackhammer, and it relies on little more than a light and well-established medical molecule. The technique involves using aminocyanine molecules, synthetic dyes already widely used in medical imaging, and stimulating them with near-infrared light. This causes them to vibrate and sync at around 40 trillion oscillations per second, fast enough to physically tear apart the membrane of a cancer cell. The procedure can kill cancer cells within minutes, even at low doses. Results of the first experiments using the molecular jackhammer technique were published at the end of 2023 in Nature Chemistry by a team from Rice University, Texas A&M, and the University of Texas. The experiments demonstrated a 99% success rate at destroying cancer cells in lab cultures. In mouse models of melanoma, half the animals became cancer-free. How the vibration mechanism works. The molecular jackhammer is a molecule embedded in the cell membrane that vibrates when hit with near-infrared light. Interesting. Since then, one of the researchers, Rice University chemist James Tour, has expanded the approach with colleagues. In late 2024, the researchers published a follow-up in Advanced Science describing the many different variations of molecular jackhammers in development, opening the door to targeting different cancer types with greater precision. The hope here isn't just the success rate. Let's keep in mind that the results so far have all been in lab and animal models, and translating that same effectiveness into humans isn't always so straightforward. But scientists think that because this is a mechanical technique, it's not something the cancer cells are likely to develop resistance to. This study is about a different way to treat cancer using mechanical forces at the molecular scale. This approach is an improvement on another type of cancer-killing molecular machine previously developed called Feringa-type motors, which could also break the structures of problematic cells. It is a whole new generation of molecular machines. They are more than 1 million times faster in their mechanical motion than the former Feringa-type motors, and they can be activated with near-infrared light rather than visible light. Aminocyanine molecules are already used in bioimaging as synthetic dyes. Commonly used in low doses to detect cancer, they stay stable in water and are very good at attaching themselves to the outside of cells. Is this like that methylene blue stuff, or is this something else? The use of near-infrared light is important because it enables scientists to get deeper into the body. Cancer in bones and organs could potentially be treated without needing surgery to get to the cancer growth. The structure and chemical properties of aminocyanine molecules mean they stay in sync with the right stimulus, such as near-infrared light. When in motion, the electrons inside the molecules form what is known as plasmons, collectively vibrating entities that drive movement across the whole of the molecule. Entities, huh? Particle collider to cure cancer? Something, yeah. How much to rent the music camp for a weekend? A lot. And I'm not giving them any more money. I refuse. I'm a little bit bitter at that place. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty bitter about it. We never got to step foot on that property, and they just took my money. Like, everybody had to give refunds to some extent except for them. Methylene blue contrast dye. 1111. Nanobots, no thanks. You're not putting that shit in me. $11.11. Hello, our true realm from the UK. I mean, what is this the same thing as I don't know. Cyanines, also referred to as tetramethylindocarbocyanines, synthetic dye family belonging to the polymethene dye group. I mean, cyanide, that's blue, right? So that is like that, isn't it? Or no? Let's see. Is a salt used as a dye and as a medication? Treating cyanide poisoning and urinary tract infections. I don't think it's the same thing. Hmm. Methylene blue crystals. Weird. They're like yellowy gold looking. Hmm. See, that stuff does dye your brain. Isn't that weird? Gross pathology of a normal brain and a brain of a patient treated with methylene blue before death. Crazy. Crazy, dude. Deathylene blue. Blue brain. Isn't that it is nasty, right? I don't know how this compares to that other stuff we were just looking at. It doesn't seem to be the same thing though. But I don't know. I am not a chemist or doctor or know anything about any of this stuff, so all I can do is read and see. This is oh, didn't the other one have the other structure? Hmm. Quinoline, quinoline, lepidine. Special cyanine dyes are synthesized. Blah, blah, blah. Can be chemically linked to nucleic acids or protein molecules. Yeah, it is different. The molecular structure is different, whatever it is. It's not the same. Hmm. What's the next chakra color after red and blue? Well, it's red. It goes red is your root chakra. Then orange is the sacral chakra, I believe. Then yellow, um, and then green, right? Yellow, like your solar plexus or whatever. And then green is your heart chakra. And then blue is your throat chakra. And then purple is your third eye. And then above that would be like a white light, which would be like there's allegedly a chakra above your head too. It's like the star chakra. It depends on what chakra system you're talking about. Or indigo would be your not really blue, but so blue and then indigo is what it would be, right? Blue is your throat chakra, and then indigo or violet would be the third eye. You almost forgot to start the burrito. Well, it's based on the rainbow colors. Yeah, the universe, the rainbow is basically that's the color coding of the universe. Yes, I guess. Yeah, see, so root, then sacral, then solar plexus, then your heart chakra, throat, and then third eye, and then and then crown. Well, that's according to this one. Blue, indigo, violet. Shock to your system derived from the chakra system. Oh, I don't know. That's interesting thought. Interesting thought. I know that they do different things to target different chakras. It seems like whenever they're doing stuff to us, like the whole COVID thing was definitely an attack on the crown chakra. Mocking God's rainbow. Yeah, and they remove a color. They take out the indigo, the third eye. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it's kind of cool to see them doing chemo-free cancer treatments. Of course. Oh, I've seen this. Tattoos affect your immune system in ways scientists are just beginning to understand. Humans have been tattooing themselves for thousands of years for spiritual, cultural, and personal reasons. Long before we were covering ourselves in ironic stick and pokes, butterfly tramp stamps, or full blackout tattoos, humans were marking their bodies with permanent ink. Dude, people who do full blackout tattoos, why? I don't understand the full blackout. But while history can tell us much about the culture of tattooing, we still don't know much about how the practice affects our health. Introducing tattoo pigment into the skin triggers an immune response, and that ink obviously sticks around, though it doesn't always stay put. Research shows that particles of tattoo ink can enter in the lymphatic system and build up in the lymph nodes. Lymph nodes are key hubs of our body's immune activity. Full of white blood cells, lymph fluid is filtered through them to clean out any debris it's collected on the way around your body. That includes misbehaving cells, i.e., cancer, bacteria, viruses, and foreign substances such as tattoo ink. Okay, whatever. Rapper MGK recently found this out the hard way by rushing a massive black work piece that covers much of his torso, including the area of the lymph nodes around his armpits and shoulders. He says the process turned his surrounding skin yellow and made him really sick. Well, you look dumb anyway. Why are you doing that? But you see what I'm saying? Like, why? Why would you do that? Even without traveling through the body, tattoo pigment sets off the immune system. Pigment enters cells in the dermis, the middle layer of the skin, and is swiftly recognized as a foreign substance. The body sends its army of immune cells, but the pigment particles are too large for these cells to remove. That's what makes tattoos permanent, but it also sets up the body for a lifelong battle against an impossible to remove invader. What helps make tattoos so permanent is that modern inks are made of a complex cocktail of chemicals. They contain pigments that give color, liquid carriers that help distribute the ink, preservatives to prevent microbial growth, and small amounts of impurities. Many pigments currently in use were originally developed for industrial applications such as car paint, plastics, printer toner, rather than for injection into human skin. Researchers have detected trace quantities of heavy metals in tattoo inks, including nickel, cobalt, chromium, and on rare occasions, lead. Oh. Accumulated at high levels, heavy metals can be toxic, causing serious health problems such as internal organ damage, neurotoxicity, and increased cancer risk. Okay. In some cases, these heavy metals triggered allergic reactions and immune sensitivity in the person receiving the tattoo. I've never experienced any of this as far as I could tell, though. I'll just say that. We'll never forget the harrowing story of a Polish man whose immune response to a red ink tattoo included losing the ability to sweat, shedding all his body hair, and developing vitiligo, a skin lightened. What? Red tattoos triggered shocking immune reactions in Polish man. Once what? Underwent multiple surgeries to excise every last chunk of red inked skin highlights the severe allergic reaction to tattoo pigments can trigger in some people. Crazy. Went through a barrage of assessments, treatments, and surgeries before doctors could make sense of his unusual constellation of symptoms, which first started appearing about 4 months after he got inked on his right forearm. A red, itchy rash spread across the man's arms and chest, then worsened into erythroderma, a severe, widespread skin inflammation. Eczema, until eruption-like changes appeared specifically on the man's red pigmented skin immediately after he stopped taking medication. In the years following his tattoo, the man also lost the ability to sweat, shed all his body hair, and develop vitiligo. What? An allergy specialist recommended that the man have the inflamed fragments of his forearm tattoo surgically removed, after which the skin changes gradually receded. Whoa. Once the red ink tattoo was completely removed and he was given immunosuppressive drugs, did his overall condition improve. Only once the red tattoo ink was removed did his condition. His hair grew again, and the progression of his vitiligo halted, although the damage to his sweat glands remains, with a slim chance of them ever working again. Oh, whoa, trippy. So I wonder what was in that ink. I would go. Did he ever go back to the guy where he got tattooed and be like, what the hell was in that bottle? The medical team was unable to obtain a sample of the red ink from the man's tattoo artist, so they couldn't test it for toxic or carcinogenic substances. Oh. Wild. Colored inks, particularly red, yellow, and orange, are more frequently associated with allergic reactions. Red ink is particularly associated with persistent itching, swelling, granulomas, small inflammatory nodules that form when the immune system attempts to isolate material it can't move. I mean, I'll say that the red ink on my tattoos, now my tattoos are mostly over 20 years old. Like the one on this arm, all the tattoos on this arm, except for the back of my hands, which are relatively new. But like all these tattoos are like 20 years old. Now, this one, the red did fade a lot in it, but I never had any of this weird stuff happen. So maybe mine just didn't have whatever was in it, but my skin is actually able to make it fade over time, because a lot of this red has faded. You could barely see it in some places. Interesting. Kat Von D Black. Yeah, I wonder if she got sick. Hey, Nathan Reed. We got crap in our food. I'd worry about that more than tattoo ink. Well, if you're not, especially if you're not getting tattooed. Tattoo is haram. Yeah, I think it says in the Bible not to get tattoos, but it's too late for me now. I didn't start reading that until long after I got a whole bunch of tattoos, and I ain't going to get all these removed because I've had a tattoo removed, and that shit hurts worse than getting tattooed. I will never sit under a laser tattoo removal again if I can ever help it. I'm much more selective about what I get tattooed than I used to be. I'll just say that much. I had one tattoo so I could get my tiger tattoo that's on my ribs, and I wanted like a nice tiger, not a tiger with a big blob hiding the old tattoo. So I had that tattoo removed, and I had to go twice. I had to get it lasered twice, and that sucked. Oh my god, did that suck? Like, I'd rather get tattooed for 4 hours than get lasered for 10 minutes. I mean, it really, it hurts, and it's not fun at all. No ink for me. I'm a clean slate. That's pretty. See, that's what I'm saying. If you want to not be like everybody, don't get tattoos. Everybody's got tattoos now. Like, I go out And it's just everybody's got tattoos. It used to not be like that. Now it's just everywhere. Let's see. Hmm. So far, there has been no strong evidence in humans that links tattoos to cancer, but lab and animal studies indicate there may be risks. Okay, so there's no strong evidence that tattoos actually cause cancer. One observational study published late last year also found tattooed people had 29% higher risk of melanoma, a kind of skin cancer, though other recent studies haven't found a link. Well, okay. You know what? Maybe these are people. Are these people using what do you call it? Sunblock? Because I know when I was getting tattoos, a lot of people who had tattoos would wear sunblock because they didn't want their ink fading by the sun. You know, they'd be like, "Oh, I like my tattoo," so they would be like putting sunblock all over it. So that makes me wonder, like, if these people were getting cancer because they were using cancerous sunblock, or is it because of the tattoos? I mean, it's already kind of admitted in mainstream that there's a lot of sunblock or whatever that causes problems in people's skin, causes cancer. So I don't know. While current evidence does not suggest widespread danger, growing research highlights important unanswered questions about toxicity, immune effects, and long-term health. Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on what kind of ink they're using. If they're using, that is kind of crazy. And of course, sanitation, right? You don't want to get a staph infection because they're not clean. So that's cleanliness. That's like why you go to a place that is clean. You know, if they don't have an autoclave, you probably shouldn't be getting tattooed there. Yeah, haven't talked with your tattoo artist about what inks they use and what hygiene practices they follow. Or just don't get a tattoo. There's that too. There's that choice too. You can always just not get a tattoo. Don't have any tats, but you've got scars from the top of your head down to your toes. Outlawed pickleball. A huge study just came out showing people who use regular sunblock with all the chemicals in it actually get more malignant skin cancers. Just saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that correlation right there comes from people trying to put sunblock on because they think that they're preserving their tattoos from being bleached out by the sun. I may have used to do that when I was younger, but I just stopped caring. I just didn't care. I mean, whatever. I mean, they're not. You could still see them. I get compliments on my tattoos all the time. They're still there. Like I said, I lost a little bit of red color here, but whatever. The old time in Morocco, the woman has tattoo before the bride. Tattoos are only meant for some, yeah. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk around with Karen B.
Hey, Karen B. Tony Coriolis.
What's up, Tony?
Hey, so the talking about the sunblock and everything, I now for years, literally since like the Vegas Flattoberfest, not like it really coincided, but I used to just work outside and I would always put on sunscreen. Now I really have not. And I mean, I'm not burning up. My skin's just better with it. But still, everyone says that simple, oh, you're going to get skin cancer in a little bit. I mean, I really don't think so. But there's no, I mean, the masses aren't changing their opinions on stuff.
Right. I was actually just
Yeah, I
reading a
even,
post by a skin doctor who said that they even admit he was a dermatologist and he was saying that there's no evidence that the sun gives people cancer as long as your sun exposure d- doesn't outpace the rate of recovery by your skin cells. Like in other words, don't stay out in the sun until you burn the crap out of yourself and you'll
yeah,
be
which
fine.
I'm, I'm a big time, I got like a farmer's tan, you know. So if I go out on a friend's boat and I wear like a tank or something, that skin is more sensitive. So yeah, the skin that I normally show is, I feel like it's impossible for me to get anything there, you know?
Mhm.
But okay, a question that I had was, have you heard that like, say I'm out in the sun and I can kind of honestly like feel this, like I'm out in the sun all day and then I go and I hop in the pool. Um, is it like I don't know, do I somehow like transfer the energy off? I'm kind of I guess my whole body temperature does cool off. So either it's just a mental thing of that happening, but isn't it like I don't know, you kind of release the sun that you received hopping into the pool? Am I just weird to think of it like that, or do you kind of know what I mean?
Well, I think it definitely, kind of helps lower your body core temperature, like because you do get hotter by standing in the sun. So water is what cools us off. I mean, that's why we sweat.
Yeah. And I don't know. I even have been doing. I mean, I'm out here in Arizona. I'd say I win maybe with heat on everyone. And I'll go after work in the sun all day. I'll hop in the pool, and then I'll just go ride around on my e-bike. Lately, I've been doing it. I probably put on like 80 to 100 miles in like the past 2, 3 weeks on the e-bike, and no one's out. Everyone's just scared of the sun. Everyone's staying inside. Um, but I'm having a good time, and I'm never feeling like I need to put on sunscreen because I'm overexposed to the sun. Uh, I always do like the early, like noon, I'm out. So I kind of figure afternoon, it's the more intense sun. But
Hmm.
I'm just on the bike cruising, and it's no big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just common sense. You know,
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
if you
And if I
feel too
ever
hot, you
have,
probably are.
yeah, and if I do feel too hot, I won't go out on the bike. But for now, I'm feeling fine. So just continuing along with that. And then another little question. So a while ago, I remember I thought about it, but I never like called into a show about it. Like drones, you're more well versed in drones than me, but I guess you even said you don't know what kind of drone they're using for the tornadoes.
Hmm.
I've seen a couple videos like that, and yeah, I mean, it must be a intense drone to be able to handle that.
Yeah. I can only assume.
Yeah,
I know that like DJI does make some really high end, very expensive drones.
I've seen some
Mine's
that are
not
kind of like
like
the
that.
size of like a go kart kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but then I just remember just spitballing around looking. I looked at for like underwater drones, and I remember even just on Amazon looking, there were not many. Now today I typed it in. There were kind of a bunch that came up, but have you seen any underwater drone footage or anything?
No, actually, I can't.
Neither have I. Now
Although
there
I
was even one.
imagine
It
it
was
would
like,
be a lot more difficult. Like, I mean, because even when I mean, how would you even pilot one of those things? I just feel like it'd be difficult because there's all this crazy stuff underwater and you go so deep and then you can't see the drone or what's around
yeah,
it.
and even you were talking about like the pressure of like water, how it does get intense underwater, the pressure.
Yeah, totally.
And then, so even like, okay, I guess it kind of does make sense on, say, your drone could communicate to your phone, no problem. But would like an underwater drone communicate still through the water, no problem? I guess I don't really know with that.
I don't know if even if it would be the same. I don't know. How did they communicate to like the submarines that go underwater, like the Titan thing that imploded? They were
Yeah.
communicating back and forth with them, but it wasn't like, how were they communicating? It was like texting or something. It was, I don't even
But
know.
signals through water, like compared to air, like I guess we know the air one, but yeah, I just figured with water there'd be something up.
Yeah, I don't know. It does seem like doing anything in the water is just like a whole introduces a whole new set of problems that you have to work around.
Yeah, it's like a whole new world, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, and then yeah, so even on Amazon, I saw there's like $1,700 for an underwater drone, $1,700, and it has an arm on it. Which I mean, in theory, it sounds cool. You know, take the drone under, you can grab something and come back up. But yeah, right. I'd love to test one of those out and see what it can actually handle.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know a lot of stuff. But that's just what was on my mind. And yeah, nothing else.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks for
All
calling.
right. Gotcha. Peace out, Karen. I'm out here in my park and I got absolutely lit up by ants. There was one sprinkler that was a little low. I went to go raise it and my hand was then covered in ants and then they didn't wash off with the sprinkler. So I just got lit up. That's why
Oh no.
I got ants on my mind. I know.
Oh,
They're ridiculous.
I hate ants.
I know at the Campton Inn, I got lit up by ants too. I was talking to someone, and all of a sudden I was just covered. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm lucky like that.
Yeah.
All right, Karen. Peace out. You have a good day.
All right. You too, Tony.
Later.
Ants in your pants. Hi, Mark Sargent. You could have to use fiber optic controller like the war drones they use. Something. Really beefy and special purpose built for that. You release heat through your head. Magnet fishing using an underwater drone would be pretty cool. I don't even know how you would even. I feel like it'd be hard to pilot one of those things. I mean, it seems like a big deal. Like whenever I used to watch those oceanic documentaries where they go and they have the the little submarine things and they're driving them around. They're ROV, remote operated. DJ. What's going on, Mark Sargent? What is going on these days? Hi, Love Bunny. Attached with a cord. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. But even the 360 cam, like does it broadcast in 360? Like, would you be viewing it in 360? Because I know like those 360 cams, you have to take the video and then run it through their 360 software to render it so that you can do the 360 viewing by clicking around and moving around. So I don't even know that it would work. You would definitely have to have a lot of sensors on it. You would have to have cameras all around it to give like views of what it's next to at any time or where it's going. but I don't know. On board by SD's hurricane. Onboard camera. I think that's a boat. That's not a. That's a sail drone. Oh, okay. So they have drone sailing ships out there. So this is just video from a drone sailing ship from inside a hurricane. Okay. Well, see, I don't know. I don't know, man. Storm chasers fly inside of a hurricane. Is this where they flew in it with a? This is where they flew in it with a plane. I remember that. Hey, James Maiden. With FPV goggles, yeah. Your mind is like a parachute, doesn't work if it's not open. But not so open that your brain falls out, right? Boat drones in the wars too now. I don't even know what this is from. What is this woman doing? Is she pooping or something on the bus, on the train? So what is going on? So these teenagers are starting to like just broadcast something out on social media and they all show up at one place and then just start fighting and rioting because I keep seeing videos of this going on. Have you guys seen this? They got the mounted police out there chasing people. Oh my god, and then they're lighting off mortars right on the ground. These people are insane. Teen takeovers? Yeah, what is that? Back in the 99s, they made RC subs in Bogota for drug smuggling, big ones. In the 90s. You were there last 4th of July? Downtown Detroit, and a lot of usually end with shots fired. Yeah, it happened in Charlotte here too. It was called flash mobs years ago. Yeah, but wouldn't they just like weren't that flash mob thing is where they would all just dance? This is not dancing. This is like people fighting. Yeah, see, here's one in Raleigh. Raleigh NC panicking after two massive teen takeovers have rocked the city with 9 people being shot on 4th of July weekend. Over 8,000 teens descended on multiple areas of the city and began fighting in the streets, firing weapons, and then fought police officers. Wow. 27 people have been arrested. Police currently combing through security footage attempting to find multiple shooters. What is this? Hordes of teens showing up to instigate chaos. Look into the new thing about people pooping on the floor at concerts. Ew! Are you serious? Yeah, and the mall, the shooting at the Greenville Mall. Yes, Jana, I saw that too. Or where they were running, wasn't somebody riding a dirt bike through one of the malls too? Like these 2 kids were riding a dirt bike through the mall. Lots of white kids participated in a team takeover at Newport Beach on 4th of July. Out in the streets, they call it bad. I mean, what is wrong with these people? See, like, I remember I went out to New Year's Eve in San Francisco one year when I still lived in the San Francisco Bay Area. And dude, there were like pipe bombs exploding in the crowd. And I remember looking at this one dude and he was picking up all these empty bottles and just chucking them into the air and throwing them behind him. And I was like literally watching him chuck these bottles up into the air and they would come down and like land on people's heads. Dude was fucked up. I still don't understand why people need to just do dumb shit like that just to do dumb shit. This teen takeover didn't make in the news. North Charleston, South Carolina. What's this? What are they doing? They all just beating the crap out of each other? What is wrong? Are you guys this bored? Oh, this is the one. Yeah, this is the one with the white female police officer who got beaten by some black teens. Oh, why do they always have to put this crappy music on there? Like, I don't understand. Ooh, they're busting out the tasers. Yeah, and then here come. See, this is why, I don't really think that women should be cops. I mean, now these 2 men cops are having to save her ass instead of there being another man cop to, assert some physical dominance when the people are acting like stupid assholes. Why? I'd be pissed if I was a man cop and I'd be like, oh, great. Now I got to go save this woman cop from getting beat up by people instead of doing what I'm here to do, which is like, get control of this crowd. I mean, getting beat up by teenagers. She's getting beat up by teenagers. Agent provocateur. Dearborn Mall. 2 killed, 1 injured. Oh my God. Imagine going to the mall and getting murdered at the mall. Freaking horrible, man. Fight Club 2026, yeah. Hilton Head Sheriff says the event is not a mass shooting because it was not a planned media pew-pew. Huh? It's crazy how you can carry a gun, use drug, and drink alcohol. Well, you're not supposed to do that, Ali B. Like, technically, if you're drunk or doing drugs, you're not supposed to be using a firearm. That's actually not legal. But some people do that anyway. But you're not supposed to be doing that. Youth don't go through any type of rites of passage in our culture, so they make the shit up themselves. Yeah. Yeah. A poop link. Fan pooping incident. Is this seriously a thing?
Bottom of a very unfortunate concert moment. After social media was flooded with claims that a fan seemingly pooped on the floor during his Philadelphia
A fan pooped on the floor?
show at Citizens Bank Park on June 26th. The singer is weighing in. Taking to X on June 27th, Noah has once...
Who's Noah Khan? Noah accidentally hit the brown note in a song.
Simple request for concert goers, writing, if you have to poop at a show, please dear
God, just go to the bathroom. I've pooped my pants as much as the next 29-year-old, but you guys gotta understand there's a venue worker out there with a 1,000-yard stare after dealing with that. Is that really a thing? Let me see. News for poop at concert. Ask fans to stop pooping pants. How come only this guy is coming up? We're entering a shitting on the floor. We're entering a shitting on the floor at concerts epidemic after Olivia Rodrigo revealed that she's often smelled her fans' feces at the barricade of her shows. Musicians like Noah Khan are coming forward with horror stories of their own fans' incontinence. Seriously? Damn, a teen takeover and 7 were shot? Oh my God, Tommy. Dude, that's crazy. Democracy Manifest. Earlier, so it's happened at Olivia Rodrigo revealed that she's often smelled her fans' feces at the barricade to the internet's collective horror. I don't care if you miss brutal. Pissing yourself is infinitely more brutal. Go to the damn bathroom. This brave admission has seemingly opened the floodgates, with more and more musicians coming forward with horror stories of their own fans' incontinence. Noah Khan put out an impassioned plea on his ex this weekend. If you have to poop at a show, please, dear God, just go to the bathroom. I've pooped my pants as much as a 29-year-old, but you guys got to understand there's a venue worker out there with a 1,000-yard stare after dealing with that. Just last night, he made the audience at his Toronto show take an oath swearing they would use the bathroom and not the floor. When you entered this building, you entered a social contract, he declared. A big part of the social contract is the golden rule. Don't shit on the floor. I can't believe he has to tell people not to shit on the floor. what is the argument for us not being in a real world idiocracy when musicians who have concerts have to tell the people at the concert to not shit on the floor? Unfortunately, Rodrigo's comments were not the sole catalyst for Khan's entreaties. The real culprit was none other than a video of literal shit smeared on the floor of a Philadelphia Citizens Bank park taken during a Khan concert. To quote the girl whose face pops up at the end of clip, what the fuck? Oh my god. The person who did this was run row in front of me in section AA. I guess they didn't want to miss a couple songs to use the bathroom, so they just straight up shit themselves and started picking actual pieces of poop out of their butt and put it on the floor. She started trying to waffle stomp the turds and acted as if nothing happened, but we flagged down security. Oh my god. That makes me want to vomit. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen. Sorry to bother your fun. I heard you laughing a lot reading that story. So I heard you say one time that the shittiest band you ever saw in concert was a band, I think you said you were at Ozfest, and it was a band called Glassjaw. You remember that, right?
No, I don't think I ever went to Ozfest.
But the band Glassjaw, specifically, you said was the worst band. They were so god-awful. Remember? Did you say that?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't even know who... I don't listen to that. I couldn't even tell you the name of a Glassjaw song.
Well, you were going through all I don't know, like 6 months ago, you did like a podcast where you were just going through music. All right, well, if you don't remember, then I remembered because I love that band, and I can imagine that they sounded terrible when you saw them live. But if you don't remember, then I guess there's no point of me telling you anything. So, but okay, I thought you said you saw that band live, and they were specifically like the worst band you ever saw. But if you don't remember, then
I don't recall ever actually seeing that band live.
Okay, well maybe I misheard you. I got just a quick question. I saw a show you did a couple weeks ago when you were showing all these data centers that are like springing up on the map now. And I was just curious, what are those data centers? Like, what are they and why should we be afraid of them? And that was all I wanted to ask you. So I guess I'll let you go with that. But thanks for taking my call and have a good day, all right?
All right, thanks, you too.
Thank you.
What are the data centers and why should we be afraid of them? I don't know. I don't know what those data centers are. They're all different. They all have to be, they're all built by different companies. And they're serving some different purpose on the interwebs. Why should we be afraid of them? I don't know. Why would you be afraid of them? I think the problem is that people don't want the new data centers, the new big, like gigawatt data centers that allegedly threaten to use tons of water and eat up tons of electricity, driving electric costs up for the average person. And then on top of that, they produce this low frequency sound that never stops 24/7. There's this weird, annoying sound, infrasound, that is coming off of some of these gigawatt data centers that they're building, and they're causing actual physical harm to people. So, but I guess that just depends on the data center. That's why people are against the new generation of data. Like, there's already a bunch of data centers in America running, right? And nobody had a problem. It's now until recently where now there's like this new push for the next generation of data centers that are like the big mega, data centers that are like, taking up, however many hundreds of square miles or whatever they're doing. The gigawatt ones that are like causing problems in the groundwater, people can't use the wells anymore, that type of thing. So, I don't know. 1.21 gigawatts. People think they're at a Gigi Allen concert. Oh, top 100 songs of the century. I don't remember talking about seeing Glassjaw. I think I might have been watching a video and I was just like, oh my God, it's like the worst. Oh, this band sounds like crap. I don't remember ever seeing them in concert though. I might have been watching a video of them play live and it sounded terrible. Low hertz sound, but it's like 50 to 60 decibels, which is pretty loud and it never stops. I was just reading about something though where did I bookmark it? Let me see if I bookmarked it. Or I could have here, right here. Rockdale County resident who's a sound engineering graduate shares shocking information on data centers. Data centers produce continuous low frequency noise at 20 hertz or under 20 hertz, which is below normal human hearing. It comes from their mechanical cooling systems, power generators, and more. It is extremely difficult to block and it travels through solid objects, including walls, floors, even the ground. This continuous frequency causes permanent hearing damage, vestibular balance issues, elevated cortisol levels, stress, chronic fatigue, headaches, sleep disturbances, cardiovascular and respiratory problems, vibroacoustics disease, that is the thickening of the heart structure, and severe physical and physiological distress. This county is already facing a high mental health crisis, and now these data centers will add to it with this low content frequency that no one can hear.
Read labels, we pay attention. So when I found out that there were data centers being proposed in Rockdale County and we already have them here, my red flags went up. Data centers are technology parks, along with battery energy storage systems, BESS, produce low frequency noise due to the continuous functioning of large mechanical cooling and power systems. Low frequency noise, LFN, or infrasound, is any frequency that falls below the threshold of normal human hearing. Typically any frequency below 20 hertz. LFN is extremely difficult to block, travels through solid objects, including doors, walls, floors, windows, as well as the ground, causing severe adverse effects to surrounding plant life, animals, and our human bodies. While LFN may not be detectable by the human ear, it's extremely dangerous and can cause permanent hearing damage, vestibular issues, trigger increase in the stress hormone cortisol, causing chronic fatigue, headache, persistent sleep disturbances, adverse cardiovascular effects such as vibroacoustic disease, which is a thickening of cardiovascular structures along with respiratory issues and severe physical and psychological distress. Approximately 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. struggle with a mental health condition. While a precise head count does not yet exist, that means that Rockdale County, which has a population of about 99,430 residents, nearly 20,000 adults in our community are experiencing mental illness annually. Adults in the community report an average of almost 6 days a month where they feel mentally unwell, and a recent student health study in Rockdale County reported that 78% of the youth in our area are experiencing stressful conditions, with 7% of them seriously considering suicide. On top of these staggering percentages, our system is strained and there's only about one healthcare provider available for every 596 people in our area seeking professional care for their mental well-being. We simply cannot add strain to this increase in psychological distress in this area.
So just to go over this woman is a sound engineering graduate. And what she's saying is that these data centers being put up all over the place are emitting a low frequency below 20 hertz sound that normal human hearing cannot pick up. It's coming from the cooling systems, power generators, and more. It's extremely difficult to block. It travels through solid objects like walls, floors, and even the ground. And what it does is it has really bad health impacts on humans. It causes permanent hearing damage. It can throw off your balance. It causes you to raise your cortisol levels. It increases your stress, causes fatigue, headaches, sleep disturbances, and this is something we hear from people who live next to data centers all the time.
Yeah, I've heard other people complaining about stuff. This one here is people who have problems with their house after the data center went up and behind their house. So zombies are woken up. Brainwave entrainment. NDB. Rico had me listen to him once. Oh, possibly. I also saw RHCP live 25 years ago. Foo Fighters open up in New Jersey. I saw RHCP live a couple times too. Now I can't even listen to them because Anthony Kiedis is a pig and he makes me sick. Sounds like some bullshit. Whatever happened to Google's data center barges? I don't know. Was that going to be a thing? I don't even remember hearing about that, but maybe. Hello, Closet Steve. Don't live near a train track. People are being... My God, people stop being afraid. Afraid of what? All I know is Cammy can tell you there was this breed of cicada that bloomed last summer. And they have a different sound that they make than the regular cicadas. It was like this high pitched like sound and it would like not go away. And I didn't know what it was. I didn't realize it was like the cicada. I thought it was this because behind a little bit behind where I live, there's this factory, and I thought, did they start a new process where now they're making this sound all the time? And the sound would not go away for like weeks, and it was driving me insane. And I was literally like, I have to move. I'm gonna have to move because I can't stand hearing the sound every time I go outside. And it turned out it was just these cicadas that once that bloom was gone, they stopped, and I haven't heard it since. But for a minute there, I was like, I have to leave this area. I can't stand it. So, and that was just a couple of weeks. Like, I can't even, these people who complain about the noises from these data centers, I can 100% sympathize with them because I experienced it. And unfortunately for me, it wasn't a data center. It was just a bloom of cicadas. And then they all died and went away, and now I don't hear it anymore. But there for a minute, I thought it was gonna drive me insane because the sound would never go away. Being able to go inside, peek inside. Was there ever a band you really loved that was horrible live? A band that I loved that was horrible live. Sounded constant screech. Yeah, right. It was irritating. I can't think of a band that I really loved that I went and saw live and they were horrible live. You know who was not so great live that I saw? Smashing Pumpkins. I didn't think they were that great live. I was really underwhelmed by them playing live, I'll say that. I've seen a lot of bands play live. That's the only one I can really think of that I was like, meh. Hey, what's up, Badfish? They had red eyes. Yeah, dude, those things were crazy. Lincoln Park before Chester died, and he could hold that scream on Giving Up just like he did on the record. I don't think I ever saw them live. I never did. I did not. This is a water fight. You saw the Beach Boys. They're still alive? They're still alive? Oh, Ginger, you saw Weird Al last night. It was really good. All noisy to me, plus the frogs. I don't know if it was last summer or the summer before, but it was, dude, it was driving me nuts. I really thought I was going to have to move. It was terrible. REO Speedwagon sucked live. Never loved them, but didn't think they sucked until a live show. Saw Lincoln Park 5 times in Chicago. They sounded like a CD. Google's data barges, which were initially shrouded in secrecy and rumored to be either floating data centers or Google Glass showrooms, were entirely scrapped. But China's got the data centers under the water, though. Following the project's cancellation, Google faced strict regulatory scrutiny over the permits and was forced to vacate San Francisco. NDB going to the astronaut encounter this Saturday? Yeah. John Stamos. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen, it's Ginger.
Hey, what's up, Ginger?
Oh, I told you last week I'd bother you today. So here I am. Weird Al was one hell of a show. There was probably at least 10 different outfit changes for specific songs and whatnot. Absolutely hilarious. If anyone has a chance to see him, I absolutely recommend it.
Wow.
His opening act was just as good. Puddle's Pity Party. He's the tall clown, and he was also fantastic. Like going into the crowd, pulling people up. Like, and the voice on that guy is ridiculous. Al played all the hits. When it came time for Fat, he came out wearing a fat suit.
Wow, really? He put the fat suit on?
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Basically, any song that he kind of had a character in, he would dress up like it. Like the Smells Like Nirvana, he came out wearing the basic outfit with like the green stripes, a wig, When they did the Amish Paradise, they were all wearing the Amish gear. And then the encore was The Saga Begins. So they all came out wearing Star Wars outfits. Like, it was unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah. Absolutely worth it.
That's cool.
Plus, like a 15-minute walk from my house. So,
Oh, nice.
yeah. As you mentioned, the Beach Boys, they're going to be playing there too. I'm sure it's not the original Beach Boys, but maybe one or two remaining people. But yeah, it was a fantastic show.
That's cool.
Other than that, one of my craziest concerts, it was some festival, like tons of bands or whatever. I think the Tea Party was playing at the time, and a water bottle fight broke out. So, like, there's the people at the front, and then the people kind of up on the hill, and the bottles started being empty when they first started hucking them. Then the people at the lower level where I was, like up front ish, they started hucking them back. Then the bottles started becoming like a quarter full. So now they're getting a little more painful. The sky was just nothing but plastic going back and forward. It was pandemonium. I am happy to say I did not throw a single bottle. I was playing defense.
Yeah.
Like, if I see a bottle coming at somebody, like, I'm putting my arm out there and blocking them if I can.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, it was absolutely the nuttiest thing that I've ever been involved in, as far as, like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a war, but like, because that would be demeaning to actual military and soldiers and crap. But it was a battle.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just the sky was full of nothing but plastic.
I'm sure they had fun cleaning up after that show.
Yeah, I don't know what happened after that, but yeah. So that was my my crazy concert experience. Other than the time we broke the patio from jumping up and down at a different one. Luckily, it was only like a foot off the ground, so nobody got injured.
Mm-hmm.
But good on Matthew Good with the Matthew Good Band. He actually stopped the show and was like, "Is everybody okay?" So, and everyone was. But yeah, they never replaced the little patio thing that was there. Yep.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you had a good time at Weird Al.
Oh, it's a 30-year gap. Saw him in '96. Get to see him in '26. So, yeah, it was great.
Nice.
All right. Well, I'll let you get on to it, and won't be able to call probably for a while because I'll have to work after today.
All right.
All right. Well, take care. Always lovely to talk to you.
All right. You take care too.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Weird Al putting on a good show. Still to this day. Imagine what the data centers are doing to the marine life around China. Yeah, I don't know. As technology advances, I feel like it's just getting worse. It's just making things worse. It's not making anything better. It's only getting worse at this point. Like I feel like our technological advancement has hit a peak, and now we're just like, as the technology technological advancement goes on, it's like the value of it is just going down. Like it's not. I just feel like it's not necessary for these, to build all these centers that can, store everything that ever happens, every conversation, every picture, all your biometric data, everywhere you go, track all your movements, stored somewhere for some malicious hacker to hack into it and get access to it and do all kinds of horrible things and ruin your life because of the data it's just, I don't see the value in it at this point. It's like, we got cool airplanes and like these cool jets that we can fly all around Earth with, and we can go to visit different countries. That's pretty cool technological advancement. We can sit here and like talk through put information that go through all the cables that go under the ocean, so we can like, live stream and video and just talk to each other and share information. Like that's kind of cool, but it's like now it's like getting to the point where it's like it's just not cool anymore. How many fucking computers does your car need to have? Why does everything have to have a kill switch now? Like I feel like cars were better before they had all these computers inside of them. Now it's like you can't even, they don't even want you working on your own car anymore. Like you can't do anything. I mean, it's making everybody dumb. It's actually starting to subtract from the quality of life at this point. Would Karen go to Ozfest again? I don't even remember ever going to an Ozfest. I'll be honest with you. I don't remember ever going to any Ozfest. Ever. I used to go to Lollapaloozas. When Lollapalooza started happening, I would go to those all the time. There might have been some other festivals and stuff, but I mean, mostly whenever we would go to shows, it would be like your favorite band, and then they would have like 2 or 3 headliners, or 2 or 3 opening bands. Have a couple opening bands, and then the band you went to see, and that's it. But festivals weren't so much a thing when I was younger, like Lollapalooza and Warped Tour. Then they started doing Warped Tour. Those are the only 2 that I can really think of, that were like festivals that would have multiple bands. I went to a few of those, but I didn't really go to the Ozfest ones because I was just not into that. I wasn't into Ozzy that much. Like I like some of Ozzy's stuff, but I was just never a huge, into Ozzy fan. Mudhoney, when did you see Smashing Pumpkins? I think this was when they were whenever they did one of the Lollapaloozas. They were one of the bands at Lollapalooza, and I just thought it was just, I didn't really care for them so much. Pearl Jam in 97, they just boycotted Ticketmaster for 3 years. This was their big tour. Horrible. They stood still, no energy, and didn't play any of the classic hits like Even Flow. Face tracking in the cars will be so dumb. Stoked to see Metallica. Metallica is a classic. Mike Love, the reggae guy, is pretty awesome. Yeah, he is. Didn't they just shut off CERN? At least that's a win for however long it lasts. It's supposed to go until 2030, allegedly, or 2028. Dude, NDB, this is weird. How does your comment change? It says... Bro, I wonder if I can show this on screen. This is weird, dude. Look at this. It says I ain't shaved with this little Asian symbol, and then when I scroll over it, it says I ain't scared. Look at this. How are you doing that? How does that happen? What is this? Just saying. Right? All the cars that have Wi-Fi and stuff now. Hootie and the Blowfish go from playing parties and bars to whatever it is now, industry product now. Low end BCC. I saw Primus last month and 5 people just passed out. I think I've seen Primus play live more than any other band. I'm pretty sure I've seen Primus play live at least a dozen times. At least a dozen times back in the day. Because I loved Primus when I was in high school. Like Frizzle Fry and Sailing the Seas of Cheese. I loved Primus in those days. And then Primus they're from the Bay Area, and I lived in the Bay Area, so they would play every New Year's Eve. They would have big New Year's Eve shows, and I would go see Primus play like every New Year's Eve for like 5 years. And also, they would play other shows too in between that, not just the New Year's Eve was just a New Year's Eve party, so it was like it just always did it. And then of course they would play shows in between. I probably saw Primus. I'm pretty sure I've seen them play at least a dozen times, maybe more. But now Les Claypool is such a fucking prick. He talks crap about, he's so blue pilled. He's so blue pilled and super leftist. And like, I heard him talk crap about, he's talked crap about all conspiracy theorists, talks crap about flat earthers. Like he's just so normie blue pilled guy. Primus sucks. Yes, first sucks. Look at yours. Billingtano, your thing is doing it too now. Fishbone, Stone Temple Pilots, and Red Hot Chili Peppers was a great show. Oh, Stone Temple Pilots, was Scott Weiland still alive? Primus was the band the cool drumline stoners liked when I was a freshman in band. Yeah. Did I used to love Primus? I found a box of receipts from 1926, my grandfather's gas station. I was the only one that could read the handwriting while showing them to a dozen people yesterday. Nobody could read longhand. Oh my God, really, Scooter? The Conspiranoid album turned me off instantly. Yeah. Where's Brian Stavely these days? He's in Charlotte. He's working. Best concert for me, Bruce Springsteen, but I hate his politics too. Yeah. Well, I know Scott died a while ago, but I'm wondering if whoever said they saw Stone Temple Pilots live, if that was Ginger. Was that with Scott Weiland, the original singer guy? Cammy got high with Elvis. What? Can say the same about Jimmy Buffett. You know who was a really good concert too that I saw that, as I got older, I didn't really like their politics either, but one of the best concerts I ever saw was Beastie Boys. That was a good one. It was during their Hello Nasty tour. or with the intergalactic planetary song and stuff. That whole album, it was that tour for that album. And they played 2 shows at the Oakland Coliseum, and me and my friend bought tickets to both shows. And so one night we did the general admission where we were down in the pit, like right up close to the stage. And then the second night we bought tickets where we just sat up. We bought tickets to just sit in the seats and just watch it from above so that we could experience it both ways. And actually, that was probably one of the funnest weekends ever. Honestly, it was, because the Beastie Boys did a show inside Oakland Coliseum, right? Which is where the A's play baseball and all that stuff. It's a big round Coliseum. And so what they had is they had a stage in the center. It was just a circular stage in the center. And the stage was slowly rotating, right? The whole time they were playing. So they're up there playing, and the thing's just slowly rotating. So anywhere you were, you always got a killer view of the Beastie Boys playing. And they would go back and forth between playing hip hop songs with the DJ, and then they had their instruments, their 3-piece. So there'd be the drums, the bass, and guitar, and then they would play their punk rock songs, and then they would play more hip hop songs. And it was just so much fun, and they were really interactive with the crowd. That was probably one of the best shows I ever saw, to be honest with you. Gen X represent. Hey, Mark Sargent. Gen X would be fun. I want to go see Gen X in concert. Generation X with Billy Idol, before Billy Idol was Billy Idol. Flaming Lips. Did they play Nitty's Girl? No, they didn't. But they didn't play Nitty's Girl. But they played all their classics, like Paul Revere. When they played Paul Revere, they just play the music and the whole audience just sings the song, raps the song, whatever. The entire crowd was singing Paul Revere. Anyway, if you're into Beastie Boys, which I was, I really liked Beastie Boys growing up, and so that was one of the funnest shows I ever went to. Another one of my most favoritist shows was Ween, and I know a lot of people don't like Ween, but I'm telling you, Ween put on a great freaking show, man. If you like Ween, a few years back, probably almost a decade ago now. Yeah, almost a decade ago now. It was a while ago. I saw them play in Asheville. I saw Ween play in Asheville. Just Ween. Here's how badass Ween is. Ween plays a show in Asheville. They have no supporting bands, no opening bands. It's just Ween. And they played for 3 hours straight, all the hits, everything. And it was amazing. It sounded amazing. 3 hours they played live. They impressed me. Ween was impressive. Saw them 10 times or more. I love Ween. That was one of the best shows ever. Ween is my favorite band. I've seen them so many times. Yes, I do. I love Ween. Ween it's people either love Ween or hate them. If you don't like Ween, you think they're crazy and they sound all fucked up and weird and people just don't like it. But if you like them, if you love them, you're all in. It's people either love Ween or they hate them. I don't even know who Ween even are. Ween? Yeah. It's Gene and Dean Ween. They're these brothers, and they just write the trippiest sort of psychedelic sort of crazy songs you'll ever hear. They're just trippy. They're trippy. Let's just say people who like Ween also probably like to do psychedelics. I cannot, personally confirm or deny this, but I've heard that people who like Ween also like psychedelics. Just throwing that out there. Never even heard of Ween. They've been around for a long time, too. A long time. You saw The Cure in Charlotte? Oh my gosh. The Cure would be fun to go see. I never saw The Cure. I did see Depeche Mode. I saw Depeche Mode a long time ago. Depeche Mode was awesome. What sucked was being surrounded by a bunch of screaming women that were screaming so loud that I could hardly hear Depeche Mode playing their songs. That was kind of annoying. I couldn't really enjoy the concert because the bitches wouldn't shut up. They just start screaming. Saw Ween once on a 10 strip, lost my marbles. Yeah, that's the song that was made famous from that Beavis and Butthead show. Push a little daisies and make them come up. But even that song is not even their best song. They have so many other much better songs than that. That's like early Ween. Like the album Chocolate and Cheese. I used to play that over and over and over. Shania Twain, most disappointing. Hey, well, when you guys come hang out, I can play some Ween. I can introduce you to Ween. If you want. Mutilated lips, give a kiss on the worm-like tips of tentacles expanding in my mind. I'm fine accepting only fresh brine. You can get another drop of this. Yeah, you wish. White mollusk, white pepper. Yes. Yes. Hey, little girl, what you got there? Kind sir, it's a mollusk I found. Okay, I need to stop. I'm gonna have to go play some Ween after this now. Cucumbers. You know who else I used to go see play all the time? Who likes the Melvins? The Melvins is also one of my favorite bands to see live. I used to see them play all the time in small little clubs. I'd be like watching them play in like Citrus Heights, which is like a suburb of Sacramento and Folsom. And it would be like in these little clubs watching the Melvins play. I mean, you're talking about Buzz Osborne. That's the guy who taught Kurt Cobain how to play guitar. When things go off the rails. Yeah, their songs are trippy. They have trippy songs too, and a lot of them are funny. They're just like sometimes I'd be playing Ween and my mom would be laughing. She'd be like, "What are you listening to?" Yeah, I really like the Melvins. I've seen them play. Not as much as I've seen Primus play, but I've seen them play a lot too. And I also saw King Buzzo when he did his solo tour. It was just him and an acoustic guitar, and he played he was touring local clubs, and he would tell stories about like the music scene over the years, and then play acoustic versions of some Melvin songs. That was pretty cool. F yeah, King Buzzo is awesome. Right on. That's what's up. Phantomas once with Mike Patton. Yeah. Dude, King Buzzo made all kinds of fun of Mike Patton at that show. He was talking about how they were backstage and he heard or they were somewhere. He was somewhere with where Mike Patton was in the room, and they started playing. Somebody played the version of War Pigs that Faith No More covered, right? Where, Mike Patton, generals gathered in their masses, right? And King Buzzo said that he said right in front of Mike Patton, "What the fuck is this garbage? This is the worst fucking cover I've ever heard in my life." And that Mike Patton just kind of was like, "Oh," just kept, he didn't really say anything. He was like, "Oh." And Mike Patton's crazy too. I have crazy stories about, I saw Mr. Bungle play. Actually, one of the shows that Primus played, Mr. Bungle, which is one of Mike Patton's bands, opened for Primus. This might have been a New Year's Eve show. I can't remember. It might have been. But Mike Patton showed up, and Mr. Bungle's playing, right? We're watching him play. And he has like a coveralls on and a gas mask. You know what I'm talking about? Like, he was wearing like gas station coveralls and a gas mask while he was playing. And in the middle of, like, while they were playing, he took off his shoe, he peed in his shoe, and then he drank it on stage. That's when I knew Mike Patton was mental. That's when I knew he was mental. He's very talented. He's got a great singing voice. And I like, a lot of Faith No More music. But dude, Mike Patton is mental. He's mental. Hey, DJ Curious. You never heard of Ween? He talked shit about Cobain too. Said he was so fucked up he couldn't play his guitar. Yeah. Love Bunny. Karen, I'm a huge Deftones fan. Always been since 95. I just discovered the Chicago band Hum, and they sound exactly like Deftones other than Chino's voice, and they've been making records since 91. Hum? Isn't that the one where they Outback Shooting Stars or whatever? Isn't that song? She thinks she missed the train to Mars. She's out back shooting stars. Isn't that Hum? Or am I thinking of somebody else? Beck? At least he didn't shit on the floor. Mike Patton fell over on stage when I saw him. That dude's not, he is, dude. Mike Patton is an insane person. Did you I think another story that the Melvins, I think the that he was telling was like that the Melvins opened for Faith No More one day or something like that. Was it the Melvins that opened for Faith No More or something? But anyways, Mike Patton was very unhappy with the treatment of a band that they had playing with them, and like he literally like shit on the crowd. I mean, he's an insane person. How to feel old. Going to a concert at the brand new Charlotte Coliseum, now finding out it was knocked down over 20 years ago. Yeah, hey man, I used to go to the Candlestick Park all the time. That place doesn't exist anymore, which is kind of weird to think about. That's it. I just saw them. Saw who? I don't know. I stopped. I haven't gone to a Primus show in, over 20 years now. It has to have been at least 20 years now or more. So I stopped going before their songs got all weird and their music got all weird. I couldn't really get into the later Primus stuff. It just got too weird. I don't know. I wasn't vibing with it. First concert was Korn, Power Man 5000, Papa Roach at the Palace of Auburn Hills. That venue is gone now too. Papa Roach, you know what's funny is about Papa Roach is they're from Vacaville, and they got famous when I was living in the Bay Area. We used to see them play at little clubs in San Jose and stuff. They would be playing with our friend's band and stuff. Like that guy Jacoby. I mean, I met that guy before they got famous. He's shorter than me. And I remember like being just laughing because I saw them playing on David Letterman or something, and they had the camera down low so it was looking up at him, and it made him look like he was like a bigger dude than he is in real life. And I just was like, oh my God, look at the camera tricks. That was like my first memory of like, oh my gosh, camera tricks to make people look more like big and impressive on TV than they are in real life. Because he's like literally eye level with me. He's not a very tall dude. Whose house runs house? They kind of sucked. You need a Ween fix? I do need a Ween fix. I'll probably be playing Ween later today. So you guys that liked Primus, do you guys like the later Primus sound? Or I'm like old school Primus, kind of like old Metallica. Like I like Metallica before the Black Album, and I like Primus. Probably Pork Soda is probably the last album that I appreciated by Primus. Anything before Pork Soda. Sure, to me, that's almost everyone at 6'4". Well, yeah, but I'm like only 5.5 feet tall, so. Truth in the song Mollusk, yeah. Prince was tiny. Yeah, he was too. Ted Summer being summoned. Isn't that song that I was just mentioning, isn't that by Hum? Did you confirm or that for me or no? All Devil's Music. My grandma used to say that. Tim Alexander was their drummer. Once he left, their sound changed a lot. Is that when it changed? Afraid to answer what, DJ? Yes, that's Hum. Okay. Winona is all I know other than the South Park theme. You don't know about Too Many Puppies? What about Jerry Was a Race Car Driver? We used to love that song. Jerry was a race car driver, drove so goddamn fast. Never did win no checkered flag, but he never did come in last. Remember that? Disturbed was pretty cool back in the day, except now the lead singer is like a staunch Zionist, and he is like a disgustingly staunch Zionist, like pro-Israel, has no problem with women and children being murdered. He really revealed himself to be a pig. He's a pig. Pork Soda was Tim Alexander last album. Tim the Ginseng drummer. Yeah. Yeah, after that I just stopped vibing with them. Just saw Echo and the Bunnymen in Modern English. Oh, I bet that was awesome. I know a lot of the 80s bands have been touring now, like B-52s. I would love to go see B-52s. I think that would be fun. And like Billy Idol was touring with Joan Jett. Did you see Cake, Karen? No. I actually can't stand. Okay, Cake. The dude, that guy, Cake dude, he lives in Sacramento. He would be like hanging around in downtown Sacramento. Everybody in downtown Sacramento couldn't stand that dude. Nobody in Sacramento could stand that dude. Yeah, that would be fun. I would love to go see some of the 80s bands that are touring. Yep. Yeah, Jerry was a race car driver. That was used to be one of my favorite songs. And Too Many Puppies. Really like Too Many Puppies too. You know who else I thought it was really good when I saw them live. I didn't even own any of their CDs or like wasn't even really a real fan, but me and my first husband went to go see Godsmack play live, and it was actually a really good concert. They were really good. Sound like Deftones but a little bit slower paced. Well, Deftones have a little bit of a slower pace on a lot of their songs too. What's up, Juan Torres? Hope you're doing well. Oysterhead? I don't think I ever saw that. Is that one of Les Claypool's side projects? Oysterhead? So many people with the sun tattoo. Yeah. Yeah, and the girl who was my best friend at that time looked like that girl who was on the cover of that album. Their faces looked very similar. It was kind of trippy. Was your burrito hot enough? You know who else was a really good concert? Now that I'm thinking about it, like now they're starting to come to mind. Incubus. Incubus is freaking awesome live. I enjoyed seeing Incubus live big time. Big time. About to say Godsmack. Aerosmith. Voodoo Lady. DJ, do you know about Ween? Checking out some Ween right now. Voodoo Lady. Shaking that stick, you're driving me crazy. Voodoo Lady, that's from Chocolate and Cheese. Your lips are hot and spicy. Tom Petty was awesome in concert. I never saw Tom Petty. I would have liked to have though. There was when I was in the '90s, in the late '90s, when I still lived in the Bay Area. He played 20 shows straight at the Fillmore. Do you remember that? He like played 20 shows in a row at the Fillmore. Instead of playing like a stadium show, he just played 20 shows at the Fillmore because he didn't want to play a big, huge stadium because he didn't think it was intimate enough. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Incubus is really good in live. Gorge at the George. A natural amphitheater. Oh, that's cool. That sounds kind of like Red Rocks. Yeah, the Ween Chocolate and Cheese Killer Album, The Mollusk, and White Pepper. Those are probably the three of my favorite Ween albums. Open for pity at one of those shows. Wishbone. I actually think I saw Wishbone play with, was it the Rollins Band? At the Greek Amphitheater in Berkeley, I believe. Wishbone was a cute dog. Well, Wishbone's also a band. Fishbone. What am I thinking of? Maybe I'm thinking of Fishbone. Now I don't know. Because it wasn't a band that like I followed. But something Bone. Which, the black dudes? Maybe it's Fishbone. I think this is who I'm thinking of, not Wishbone. Fishbone? No. No, even this doesn't look like them. I'm so confused now. What's the Wishbone band? Let me see. Wishbone Ash. Okay, this is different. Okay, no, it's totally different. I was thinking of somebody else. I think I was thinking of Fishbone. What is this? They're flying Apache helicopters, low flybys in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Says Apache helicopters flying in formation along the beach in Charleston for the bisesquicentennial celebration. Open for STP and Peppers. No geology departments shouldn't hire flat earthers. What? What's up, Ginger?
So, yes, Scott was alive back in the early 2000s.
Uh-huh.
We didn't think he'd be able to get back over the border because of all of his drug charges. So we figured it'd be our only chance. But so I went with 3 friends. I got the STP, the one with the star, number 5 maybe was the album T-shirt. My other friend got the Chili Peppers T-shirt, And my dumbass friend got the fishbone shirt. We don't know fishbone at all, but it was a fish with a joint hanging out of its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And when fishbone comes on stage, my dumbass friend is like, "They're black?" And we're like, "Guess so." But yeah, it was a classic move of that guy. Not gonna name names, but yeah, they're black. Just the shock and awe. So funny. Anyway, get back to those helicopters, if you want to. I'm not
Okay.
telling you what to do.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye. Heard they shot off over 1 million fireworks in DC on the 4th. I just don't care about fireworks anymore. I really don't like fireworks. Saw a guy on the train last week with a Deftone shirt on, right on. You saw the B-52s, DJ? Was it recently or a long time ago? We love Rock Lobster. Rock Lobster! Everybody had matching towels. I went to 515 Grateful Dead concerts. I have 514 of the stubs, all before Garcia died in 95. I never went to the concerts. I just hung out in the parking lot. Yeah, B-52s are awesome. Wanna be the leader of the universe? Let's meet and have a baby now. Dude, no animals like fireworks because they're like horrible. Sounds like destruction. Saw a Tom Petty cover band recently, and the guy looked just like Tom Petty. Oh, that's cool. A bunch of their gear got destroyed. Oh no. I didn't hear about that. Yeah. Yeah, that would be fun to go see them now. All right, let's see. Geology departments shouldn't hire flat earthers. Why? It's increasingly obvious that politicization is a problem in America higher education. You can see this in the public stances universities have taken on everything from the legality of abortion to the justice of Israel-Palestine conflict. You can see it in the faculty they have hired, and you can see it in the syllabi they are teaching and the research they are producing. Some of today's universities look more like political action committees than institutions of higher learning. Well, I can't disagree with that assessment. In response to this politicization, organizations like Heterodox Academy are advocating a return to truth-seeking as the university's central mission. One necessary condition for this to work is viewpoint diversity on campus. Other organizations share this concern but use different terminology. For example, the American Council of Education uses the term intellectual pluralism in its statement on academic rights and responsibilities, while the Commission for Public Higher Education requires that accredited universities have policies and practices that support the intellectual diversity of its faculty and students in academic and co-curricular life. What these notions have in common is the idea that universities must cultivate a wide range of perspectives on campus to ensure scholarly inquiry and teaching proceed in an open and lively way. Echo chambers are great for tribal mobilization, but lousy for the discovery of truth and the generation of knowledge. When certain disfavored viewpoints are excluded from the university, dissenters are silenced, flawed ideas go unchallenged, research questions go unasked, and classrooms become places of affirmation rather than discovery. Viewpoint diversity is an antidote to this kind of stagnation. While there are a number of objections to viewpoint diversity, perhaps the most common is the flat earth objection. Wait, what? The objection comes in the form of reductio ad absurdum. Cultivating viewpoint diversity on campus would require a geology department to hire a flat earther, and what university would want to do something as silly as that? This charge has been levied both by faculty and advocacy groups like the AAUP. For example, a recent piece in the Stanford Daily argues that if the discipline of geology collectively determines that the flat earth theory doesn't meet its standards, geologists do not, simply for the sake of viewpoint diversity, need to continue to hire flat earthers to provide lessons on flat earth theory to their students. Wait, what? Was that ever a thing to begin with? Need to continue to hire flat earthers and provide lessons in flat earth theory for their students. So they were doing that before? Like knowingly? I don't believe that. Implicit in this objection is the assumption that there is an inverse correlation between viewpoint diversity and intellectual standards. Strengthening the one would thereby weaken the other. For example, a recent AAUP statement on the issue concludes that promoting intellectual diversity will pressure institutions into teaching unsupported or discredited ideas, and since a university's highest goal requires rigorous intellectual standards, the call for viewpoint diversity represents a threat to the university's purpose. The Steelman version of the objection can be fleshed out a bit further. The very point of a university is to winnow ideas on the threshing floor of reason. In that process, some ideas will go extinct, others will survive or evolve. It's appropriate to abandon viewpoints that are internally inconsistent, refuted, or poorly evidenced. To purposely cultivate such viewpoints would frustrate the academic enterprise. We don't improve the academy by hiring phrenologists, Lamarckians, or Ptolemaic astronomers, even when that makes the campus more viewpoint diverse. Despite its popularity, the flat earth objection is a bust, as Jonathan Haidt pointed out in HXA's very first blog post back in 2015. Oh, 2015? That was early days of this becoming like a more talked about idea. We don't want viewpoint diversity on whether the earth is round versus flat, but we do want everyone to share the same presuppositions when it comes to the study of race, class, gender, inequality, evolution of history. Oh, but do we want everyone to share the same presuppositions when it comes to the study of race, class, gender, inequality, evolution, or history? Can research that emerges from an ideological uniform and orthodox academy be as good, useful, and reliable as research that emerges from a more heterodox academy? The answer to these rhetorical questions is no. We should expect an ideologically diverse academy to do a better job thinking about controversial issues than their ideologically homogeneous counterparts. So where does the flat earth objection go awry? First, it assumes that today's university ecosystem has captured the whole truth and nothing but the truth. As the AAUP understands it, increasing intellectual diversity on... Whoa! My sound is all wonky now. Hold on. Thank you for calling Coffee Talk. You're on with Karen B.
Hey, Karen. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. I've got a story for Ginger.
Okay.
So, years and years ago, I was on a cruise with a bunch of family members, including my niece, who's like one of my best friends. She's only like 6 years apart from me. And the cruise ship stopped in Nassau, which is just like rows of junk that you can buy. And we had no interest in doing that. So we were just kind of loitering around, waiting for the ship to leave again. And I called my ex just to shoot the breeze. And he was on speakerphone with my niece standing there. And he said, well, what are the Nassau people like? And I said, oh, they're fine. They're awfully black. And he immediately goes, they're not that black. My niece was dying. And about a year after that, she was on doing the safari thing in Africa. And I suddenly get a text from her while she's in Kenya. And all it said was, the Kenyans, they really are that black. Oh, man. Oh. And I've got other big news. My dog Gus is missing a leg now. I've got a tripod dog now.
Oh my gosh. What happened?
He got a growth just on the front of his left front leg. And I thought it was a fatty tumor. He's 11 years old. And I thought, oh, it's just old age. But no, it turned out to be cancerous, but they didn't find cancer anywhere else in his body. But it was bad enough on the leg that I had to have it amputated.
Oh, wow.
So I can't believe how well he's doing, though. He acts like he's always just had 3 legs.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of 3-legged dogs, and they still get around pretty good. They do all right.
Yeah. Of course, it changes his life. He can't go hiking with me anymore, but he's trotting around the house and around the yard just fine.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, I'm glad he's doing all right.
Yeah. How are your dogs?
Oh, they're good. They're dirty. They're just dirty dogs.
Well, if they're dirty, they're happy.
Yeah. They're doing good.
Good. All right. That's all I had. A little story for Ginger.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye. Poor Gus. Yeah. The storm ripped through before they could get their stuff off stage. Oh my gosh. The rheostatics. Geologist theory does not match reality. What are they going to do about that? Perhaps select a decent creationist books on geology. That'd be like hiring Owen Benjamin to teach about Jewish history at a university. This is a roundabout way of saying they don't need to hire Israel critical professors, but isn't the pro-Palestinian stance like a liberal thing associated with a liberal mindset, and like all the colleges have a lot of liberal teachers? Like I feel like they already have that going on. I mean, I don't know. Do they? You would think so. Dogs are the best. Yes, I love dogs. Okay, so where was I? But that's true only if we assume at the outset that all underrepresented ideas are bad ones. There's no reason to think this, and an institution that takes discovery of truth seriously can't afford to make such an assumption. as assuming that they've got the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Second, the objection assumes that minority viewpoints are in the minority because they are discredited, unsupported, unworthy, or intellectually dubious. In other words, it assumes that the sole reason that a viewpoint would be excluded from today's university is a good one. Again, there is little reason to think that's true. Ideas can be winnowed on the threshing floor of reason, but they can also be winnowed by cultural fad, ideological fiat, and generational gatekeeping. All of these options are likely thanks to a host of ingrained cognitive tendencies that undermine our ability to identify our own biases or give ideas we dislike fair hearing. Worse, the political imbalance of today's faculty makes it even more difficult to decipher why some ideas are championed and others neglected on university campuses. Faculty hire people and teach ideas for all sorts of non-epistemic reasons, and survey after survey shows that many faculty openly admit to discriminating against minority political viewpoints in everything from publication decisions to hiring. In other words, it's not just a remote possibility that ideas are being filtered for non-intellectual reasons, it's near certainty. Simply knowing that an idea is disfavored doesn't tell you all that much. Third, the objection assumes that the viewpoint diversity requires violating discipline-specific standards. Hiring a flat earther would contradict the epistemic norms and govern the geosciences. That's what makes it bizarre, but the analogy doesn't carry over to many of the other minority positions excluded from the university. It's hard to believe that the disciplinary standards of English literature require Marxism in the way that geology requires commitment to a spherical Earth, or that robust historiography requires left-wing ideology, or that the epistemic framework of sociology requires a commitment to anti-racism. In other words, the discipline-specific standards of today's academic departments don't explain the echo chambers we find there. Huh. So it's almost like they're saying you should talk to flat earthers. Is that what I'm reading? A thought experiment should make this point clear. Suppose in the future it turns out that nearly all historians in America are politically right-wing. How should our future selves explain that fact? Should they conclude that this political distribution is required or even made likely by the disciplinary standards of history? Should they conclude that Stephen Colbert was wrong when he said that reality has a well-known liberal bias? Should they instead conclude that reality has a right-wing bias and that it just took us time to recognize it? I have a hard time believing any of these options. The same lesson applies to today's university. Pursuing the truth within disciplinary standards alone is unlikely to result in a politically skewed echo chamber, and yet that's exactly what we see in many disciplines today. That means something else is also afoot. The upshot is that we can uphold disciplinary standards of evidence, excellence, and the like while still pursuing viewpoint diversity in our ranks. Fourth, viewpoint diversity is as much about values and interests as it is about empirical beliefs and disciplinary conclusions. What faculty value, where their interests lie, have profound impacts on what they teach and what they research. Take two geologists, both of whom eschew the flat earth theory but hold different political values. One might spend her time researching petroleum reserves, whereas the other investigates carbon capture. Both abide by the scientific standards of their discipline, but they have radically different research profiles. While the evidential standards remain consistent across the field, the spotlight of academic inquiry can be pivoted to many different projects. Where that light shines is largely a function of value and interest. The flat earth objection assumes that the only kind of diversity at play is diversity of empirical commitments or disciplinary methodology. As this example shows, that's only the tip of the iceberg. The takeaway is that advocates of viewpoint diversity have never been in favor of hiring flat earthers into geosciences departments. Instead, they want to ensure that all positions defensible by disciplinary standards and evidence remain discussable, even if only a minority of scholars hold them. The takeaway is that advocates of viewpoint diversity have never been in favor of hiring flat. Instead, they want to ensure that all positions defensible exist and remain indiscussable. If a position hasn't been settled by a discipline's own standards, it remains in an open question, as Jonathan Rausch puts it. We want the funnel of ideas to be broad at the top and narrowed only by epistemically relevant reasons. Epistemically. Where do you put the accent on? Epistemically, I guess? Geology has settled the question of the shape of the earth, but philosophy has not settled the question of what makes a government just. We would benefit from intellectual diversity on the latter score. Geology has not settled the question on the shape of the earth, though. That's not true. Further, advocates of viewpoint diversity want a university where faculty and students with values or interests at odds with the majority are able to shine the spotlight of academic inquiry in directions that make the most sense to them. Given this, we should encourage those with marginalized yet intellectually intriguing and defensible positions into the collective work of the university. That's why the flat earth objection is a failure. Viewpoint diversity isn't a call to denigrate the epistemic standards of the academy. Not all ideas are equally good, but neither are all minority positions epistemically wanting. I don't understand. It sounds like, aren't they saying that you should discuss different ideas, but then also it's saying that I'm a little bit confused by this. Are advocating a return of truth-seeking as the universe's central mission. They do, Karen? They do what? Their takeaway is trying to divert and make wrong. All of this is based on assumption that they are right in the baseline. Yeah. I want to know when a flat earther was ever hired in a geology department. Like, has that ever happened? I don't think that's happened. I thought I had somebody comment in one of my chats one time that said he was a geologist and he was a flat earther. Diversity can be achieved using within fields without opening to flat earth. Oh, I see. Oh, they're saying diversity is a requirement for science, but only for as long as it isn't flat earth. Okay, that makes sense. Saying diversity of opinion, but only where reasonable, using FE as an example of an unreasonable opinion. See, because if universities did open up that discussion and people really started asking questions, it would be bad. It would be bad for them. Because we all know that most of the people who, everybody who researches flat Earth becomes a flat earther. And then sometimes they go retarded and flop, like Jeranism. A late 1960s sci-fi movie postured that a rogue group of Cultural Revolution Chinese communists dug an underground tunnel from China to the United States. That's hilarious. Double negative. I know. It is a little bit. Yeah, I don't like the way that article was worded. Hasn't Mark lectured college students on FE? I know he's done a lot of school interviews, like colleges and high schools, I think. I think he might have even done elementary, but I know that he's done a lot of stuff where like he talks to school students. Yeah. I think high school. Weird Al singing Yoda. Hmm. Parody of Lola. FE is a stronger argument when approached epistemologically. That's what they don't want. Yeah, exactly. That's why they called it out in that hearing in 2018 or whatever. That's why the algorithms push all of this stupid shit that gets conflated with flat earthers to make flat earthers look retarded. All right, well, it's 1:30. I think it's about time to wrap it up. Get on with our day. I want to try to make some jalapeno cheddar bread again. Trying to refine a recipe for jalapeno cheddar bread that I really like. So I'm gonna do my part 2, trying to bake that today, I think. Flat earthers should avail themselves of more creationist geology books and less speculations about endless conspiracies. I agree. I agree with that, Dennis. We know what's funny is Ted showed me yesterday that 4 years ago was when I uploaded that Karen's melted rant about everybody who was saying that all mountains were melted brick buildings. Do people still think that anymore? Keep in mind, these are people that want you to believe rocks formed over millions of years and just stopped. Yeah, exactly. Brazilian lemonade? What's special about Brazilian lemonade? What makes it Brazilian? My jalapenos are getting big. I've picked a ton of jalapenos off my jalapeno already. And like to make the jalapeno bread, you use a lot. It's a lot of jalapenos. So and it was really good too, by the way. I'm gonna make some more. Yeah, rocks formed in millions of years. Just yeah. You made jalapeno bread yesterday, Scooter? Right on. It's good. All right, you guys. Limes, sweetened condensed milk, cane sugar on ice and blended. Huh. Is that okay? So is there no lemons? So Brazilian lemonade is lime? I'm so confused. Or is it lemon lime? Okay, now I'm going to look it up. Made from blending whole limes, including the pill, water, and sweeteners like sugar or sweetened condensed milk. Okay, so there's no lemons in Brazilian lemonade. That's... That's weird. Technically a limeade, yeah. All melted. Yeah, I don't know. I don't hear too much about it, but I figure that's just because people don't want to talk to me about it because I just poo-poo it all the time. Down, let's make the best jalapeno bread. I don't know. The last batch I made was pretty good. I just want to do it a little bit differently. I feel like my tweaks will make this batch better. I'll keep you guys posted. Would be so good with Malibu rum. Ooh, that sounds good. Malibu rum. Oh, I haven't had that stuff in a long time. That sounds good. All right, you guys. I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your moon day. Have a lovely week. Enjoy the sun. Get some sunshine. Don't get burned. So, just be careful. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Much love. See you all next time.
The earth, but I'm not spinning at all. Hi, Hailey, I'm spinning at 120 miles per hour. How about you, Zach? I am spinning 1,000 miles per hour, but I don't feel it. Oh, fuck.